episode of the 5 O'Clock Sweats podcast, a podcast where we talk about the stuff that we like to do when we are not working. My name is Derick, and I am accompanied by...
I'm Ryan.
Great. Oh, I said I was going to have a weird intro for this one, and I didn't.
That was weird, though, because you introduced, and you have no one's introduced besides me in a long time. It's been...
Oh, yeah, I guess that's fair.
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's a different kind of weird coming at you today.
Yeah.
Speaking of today, as we are recording, the Philadelphia 76ers have made some roster moves.
They did. They were active. Daryl Morey was working on a Sunday, late Sunday, too. I mean, this man was grinding. And yeah, he put in some work in the wee hours of the night.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, highlights, right? We got Andre Drummond back.
Nice little homecoming for Andre.
He was fantastic his last stint with the Sixers.
They should never let him go, honestly. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, it made me sad to see him go.
He's just the perfect complement, like the perfect backup for Embiid.
Yeah, and kind of unexpectedly, too. I remember when we signed him, I had my doubts, but like fucking running the two bigs like side by side. I don't really get the other thing still. But, man,
he brings toughness and he brings rebounding ability, which
that's what I was gonna say, dude.
Man, that if we had Andre in that Knicks series, we probably win the series.
We got out rebounded like a motherfucker in that.
We got
series.
fucking bullied during that series off the boards. Like that was so bad.
Yeah,
so bad.
That's especially when we missed Drummond.
Yeah,
and that was good. Even like fringe, like Embiid and Maxey are quote unquote healthy. You know what I mean? So like even having somebody else in there to bear some of that load would have been...
I mean, Embiid's gonna... Yeah, exactly. And then, going into this season, Embiid's gonna miss time. He's gonna miss time, whether it's because, just giving him rest or another injury, which at this point, it would be weird for him not to get hurt. Hopefully it's not serious, though, when it happens.
Yeah. And hopefully it's one of the ones that's, like, random, you know what I mean? Like, breaking the orbital, that sucks. That sucks. Yeah. But it's not like his basketball shooting orbital, you know what I mean?
Yeah, he's not shooting with his... It's the other eye he shoots with, not that one. His injuries have been random. They've been very weird. He's just... I don't know. He's like a dark cloud hovering above him, like an injury cloud. So
yeah, let's move on from that. I don't
want to be sad. This is a good day.
The juju we got.
This is a positive day. So they signed Drummond, and what else did they do today?
Little known player coming over from the Los Angeles Clippers, I believe. Paul George
starts with a P. Yeah, Paul.
Yeah, same guy. I think
he's okay. I
was looking at the roster earlier. But...
He's got two first names, right?
Yeah, both of them. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so it's pretty low key guy. Yeah, you might have heard of him before, but
got him for cheap too. 4 years, $212 million. $53 million per year.
Ain't my money. It ain't my money. Yeah, they signed Paul. It's been in the works and I feel like this has been coming for a couple years, and just what was a matter of time. Like, when will Paul George be a Sixer? And here he is.
Here he is.
He's here. He's here. Daryl Morey did the thing. They had the Sixers contingent out in LA to meet with him and sway him. I think they had Josh Harris, who
he's got some pull.
Yeah, he's just the guy with the money. I mean, he's got the wallet, he's got the checkbook. That's all he brings to the table.
Yeah.
But then you got Daryl out there, Elton Brand, former player, and then they brought out Dr. J. They had Julius Erving out there to welcome to convince Paul George. They brought out the welcome wagon for him.
Yeah, so you were much more plugged into this than I've been. I was
just on Twitter this morning
today.
Twitter was blowing up this morning, so I was scrolling and I saw these little nuggets. So Yeah, I don't have any inside sources, but I just saw that. I did read that Dr. J was there, so that's really cool. And they got the deal done. Apparently, I didn't see, but like during the NBA Finals, apparently Embiid and Paul George were on a panel together. I guess pregame.
That's what I was going to bring up. Okay. Actually, yeah.
Go ahead then.
Like at the desk. I didn't remember if it was that or if it was when Embiid was at the football tournament, the soccer tournament. But
pretty sure it was the finals.
Yeah, and they asked Embiid something about like adding extra pieces, and doesn't he just like kind of glance over at Paul George and start laughing?
You could be one of those pieces, Paul.
Dude, that's
the missing piece.
And here we are.
Yeah.
It's
a couple months later. He's here. So that's exciting. He's a good compliment.
Huge. I know I'm going to shoot myself in the foot by saying this, but huge upgrade. Huge upgrade over Tobias Harris.
You're not going to shoot yourself in the foot. I mean, it's an upgrade.
But I mean, how many times have we seen a player that we've essentially given up on move elsewhere and thrive?
I have no confidence that Tobias is going to thrive. He got banished to Detroit, basically.
Yeah.
The worst team in the league. Like, good riddance,
he's there
my man.
To pick him all the way back up.
Yeah, I saw someone like Woj or someone else tweeted out like the Pistons are signing Tobias Harris. He's a good signing for a young team looking for some veteran leadership. I was like, I don't even know if you're going to get that. Are you even going to get that from Toby?
No, I think you will. I think he's been a good, locker room guy. He does great work off the court. He does a amount of work on the court.
He shows up to the games. Well, he's physically there.
Yeah.
He doesn't actually show up, but he's there. He's physically on the court, just taking up space.
Man, I remember like the last 2 or 3 years. It's like, you need Tobias Harris to give you 14 points. He'll give you 20. You need him to give you 30 points. He'll give you 20. And that's just Tobias Harris in a nutshell. And I've told you this off mic, but every time I see Jason Tatum, pause.
Yeah.
It makes me mad. It's not just because he's Jason Tatum, not just because he's a Celtic. It's because when I see him, I think Tobias Harris could have like the same or a similar skill set to you. And Tobias is languishing, like getting ripped for the contract that he has. And Tatum's out here winning NBA finals.
Yeah.
Like, it just pisses me off.
Listen, Tobias, like, obviously it's one of the most disappointing players in recent Philadelphia sports memory. Like, the guy clearly has the talent. Like, you've seen it in the past. He'll have games where he'll score 20 plus and, be a key factor in a big win, but it just happens once in a blue moon. He should be able to put up at least 15 a game. At least. And I think he scored 0 points in that last Knicks game.
That doesn't surprise me.
I think that's true.
It wouldn't surprise me. It's like he does show up on nights that sometimes we do need him to show up, but it's not consistent. Like, it never was. And I think that, as Philly fans, we're not really like ragging on Tobias the player. It's just the numbers that he gives us for the number of dollars that we give him didn't match up.
Yeah. And then listen, he didn't ask for that money. I mean, they gave the Sixers paid him that money. Good for him. He got paid. But essentially, at the end of the day, he was essentially stealing money from the Sixers to dribble a ball and not make key baskets, not rebound the ball, and not what was the stat? He hadn't taken a charge in 5 seasons or something like that.
I didn't know that.
There was something ridiculous, and that's just a lack of heart and like will to win,
Man,
just putting your body on the line.
When you say that, the only thing I can do is like flip through the last couple of seasons mentally, and it's just Toby getting too handsy in the paint, fouling the guy, and then arguing the ref about it. Yeah. Which I understand, like any player is going to do that, but not taking any charges in 5 seasons and also doing that is really funny.
Yeah. And he got paid, so good for him, but just you got to play harder. You got to put forth more effort. Especially when you're, and like he was a good soldier. Like he was very quiet for the most part, even when the Sixers kept signing other players and his role was getting diminished and a little more diminished.
Well, I mean, to be fair, if you're Tobias Harris and you're getting the bag and other people are doing your job for you, it's not really a whole lot you can say,
True. But he had a job. He was supposed to be like a role guy and just, get his 15 points a game. Come on. You can do it. Take a charge once in a while. You couldn't do it. So the Sixers got better. Addition by subtraction. They're better. They're a better team today, even if they hadn't signed anyone else, because that man is off the team.
Yeah, I do tend to agree with you there. I mean, I know that I'm being overly cautious with, not shooting myself in the foot, but like, how can this not be better?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the best thing Tobias ever did in his career was be Boban's friend.
And have those commercials with him. Broke them up.
It was a fun season when they were together. It was like the bromance was palpable.
Oh, man.
I could feel it.
We were seeing literal like clips of the Bobby and Toby show like on ESPN.
Yeah.
What?
I know. It was cool. But that was the best that was his biggest contribution during his time with the Sixers. So thanks for that. Thanks for that season. Thanks for those memories.
That and vaguely looking like J. Cole.
Man, he does look like J. Cole. Wow.
Who is also a fantastic hooper.
That doesn't change anything. My opinion of him still stands, but yeah. Man, he does look like J. Cole. Oh my God, I'm looking at him right now.
Yeah, well, he's going to Detroit now.
Yeah, banished to Detroit. Hopefully bringing that veteran leadership. Let's talk about players that are actually good at basketball. And Tyrese Maxey got paid today.
He deserves every
penny. Yeah.
Every penny.
It's great because Maxey is literally the opposite of Tobias, where he is beloved by everybody. He puts forth the effort. He gets better and better and better. And he just looks like he's having fun out there. He just looks like a kid playing a game that he loves to play, and it's such a joy to watch him every night. We're just lucky to have him, and I'm just so happy that he got paid. I mean, good for him. Deserved every penny.
We owe Mike Muscala, former Sixer Mike Muscala, for draining that 3 to then land us the pick that secured Tyrese Maxey.
Man.
Because over the last couple seasons, he has been one of the only bright spots in my never-ending Philadelphia sports despair.
Yeah, I mean, he's just such a likable athlete. And he's just getting better. He's 23. He's a baby.
Nuts, dude.
He's a baby. Nuts. He's an all-star. He's going to compete for an MVP one day, I think. Like, just wait till he gets to the prime. I mean, he's already he averaged 25 points last year, I think. I mean, the dude's a stud. Yeah. And I love him because I also root for him because he's like he's like an Allen Iverson type, where he's one of the smaller guys on the court, smallest guy on the court, arguably, and but he's so scrappy and just like puts max effort. Like,
dude, he's nuts.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. He could probably steal the ball away from you, and then by the time you've registered that, he's already halfway down the court.
Yeah.
Like, going full speed at the basket, somehow ball control to slow that thing up for a layup, and he just runs away smiling.
Yep. Like, he's a joy. Maxey. And also I just like doing that.
Oh yeah, of course.
Maxey.
Man, 5-year, $204 million contract.
Yeah, he got the max. That's staggering.
Deserved, nuts, but deserved.
For sure. Yeah.
Well, where's that? I've been trying to think of like our roster depth. I haven't looked at the roster, updated with today's changes, but we've got Joel Drummond. I'm assuming Paul Reed is gonna stay
B-ball Paul
instead of Mo Bamba. That would be my guess.
I would think so. Eric Gordon, who they signed as well, was a little complimentary veteran piece.
Yeah, our guard depth is interesting, right? Because we've got Maxey.
Mm-hmm.
I think Melton's coming back. Is that true?
I don't think anything's been confirmed yet. I don't know for sure.
Yeah, he kind of dropped off my mental map after, was it like that back injury that he had that just kind of kept, flaring up? Like he'd be back in for a game and then be gone for the rest.
So Melton is actually going to the Warriors. He's gone.
Well, Mr. Do Something went somewhere.
As of 6 hours ago.
Oh boy.
He was gone. So scrap that. Yeah, I mean we'll see what how the
live folks.
We'll see how the bench pans out, but as of right now, starting five is looking pretty good. It's not pretty good, it's looking great. I mean, you have the big three of Tyrese, Paul George, and Embiid, and with Drummond and Oubre mixing in there to help out. And
yeah, man, Oubre coming back, huge.
I love Oubre. He was such a fun player to watch last year. Dude got hit with a car and still came back.
That was crazy. That was like what, after the first 2 weeks being here?
Yeah, and he was killing it too.
Oubre's out because he got hit by a car.
That was it. There wasn't any other news. It wasn't like he's okay, he's fine, like he's not okay. There was no news, just that he got hit by a car, and then it took a few hours, and luckily his injuries were minimal.
Yeah, I think the next update we got was, oh, no, he was on a bike when he got hit with the car.
Yeah, so he pulled an AJ Brown,
still
basically.
Fucking nothing.
Him and AJ Brown are the only two Philadelphia athletes to be struck by a vehicle riding a bike.
What a prestigious record to hold.
It's a very niche group. You're proud of that. It's a badge of honor.
Yeah, him coming back, huge. Because he was on a, veterans minimum coming in, right?
I think so.
And I feel like that's why people were thinking he was playing so hard. Like, he was trying to prove that he probably deserved a little bit more than that, huh?
Yeah, well, he got it, and he's coming back. And just another guy, and I hope it wasn't just trying to show out for a new deal. I hope that that's just how he is as a player, and that it comes in this year with the same fire, realizing like, okay, this team has a legitimate chance to win a championship this year, and they do. They really do. That's exciting. Last year really didn't have expectation. I mean, playoff team, yes, but where they were not going to compete with the Celtics or even the Knicks, really, to for that NBA championship last year. They just didn't have the firepower. Yeah. This year, Daryl's making moves, and they are primed to make a run at the finals this year, which is exciting, and that's all I want. I just want to go in with some confidence and faith that like this could be the year. That's all.
Oh yeah.
And we'll see if they stay healthy. That's the biggest thing. You got to keep Joel healthy. And how do you do that? Well, there's a couple of different ways you can do that, but at the end of the day, I think you just got to throw him out there and just cross your fingers that he doesn't do anything. He doesn't do anything stupid, and that nothing stupid happens to him.
Yeah. And I mean, now we've got a little bit more security in his backup, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Before it's like minutes without Embiid, right? You get Paul Reed. I almost called him Paul George. You get Paul Reed. You get Mo Bamba. Yeah. Like they both bring different skill sets to the table, but like they just got manhandled when Embiid wasn't in.
Yeah, no, you need. Luckily, Drummond will be a guy that can. You're not going to be completely helpless when Embiid has to take time on the bench. And again, your rebounding isn't going to fall off really.
Yeah,
I mean, Drummond's a excellent rebounder. I think he averages 11 rebounds a game, which they could definitely use.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, their big three matches up with any other big three in the league, and arguably it is the strongest one. So will they compete with the Celtics? I mean, the Celtics have a better roster probably right now overall, but I mean, the Sixers are definitely 2, if not 2A, with the Knicks, the Villanova Knicks. I mean,
oh God, I forgot.
They added Bridges.
Yeah, I forgot Bridges went over there. The untouchable Bridges.
It's crazy, man. I mean, they literally are just, they just want to have another Villanova. They just want Villanova out there, which, cool.
Hell, well, it'll be a fun team. The Knicks, admittedly, were fun to watch this last season.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
Up until we played them.
Yeah.
That is, yeah. Of course.
Yeah, it was not fun to watch them.
Yeah, that was bad.
Kick our ass.
Yeah, not good.
But yeah. Should be a fun season. I'm excited. We'll see what other moves Daryl makes. Because I'm sure he's not done yet. And then we'll see what moves in season he makes.
Yeah, that's true.
I hate to say it, but Drummond or Oubre could be trade pieces at the deadline. You have no idea. I mean, we'll see how the season pans out, but they could just be signed here for and just be trade bait. Come the trade deadline. Yeah. I mean, I hope. Well, I hope not, and I hope so, because if they trade both those players, they're getting a damn good player back. But obviously, we love Oubre, and Drummond definitely is definitely going to play a role, and he'll be effective. But if they're trading them, they're going to get a good player back, like a really good player. So we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll have to see what we need by that
exactly
point, right? But yeah, I'm ready to get hurt again.
Man, yeah, I know. It's been rough as a Sixers fan the last few years. Just so much hope, so much wasted potential, so many what ifs, so many moves that should have been made or should not have been made that could have resulted in a championship or 2 or 3. Like, this team should have an NBA championship right now. I mean, they had so many chances.
It makes me sad.
They drafted so horribly for so many years, and not all of it's their fault. Ben Simmons, luck and bad luck and partly bad scouting.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Markelle Fultz, who predicted that he was going to forget how to shoot?
Nobody.
No,
not even Markelle Fultz. I think.
I don't think so. I think he's still playing. So credit to him. He figured it out eventually.
Yeah, he started turning it around.
Yeah,
he was with the Magic for a while, right?
Yeah, he might still be there.
Yeah, he may still be there. Yeah, according to Google, he is.
There he is. So he found a home in Orlando. So good for Markelle. But
yeah, and Orlando made some moves today too, right? So they look a little bit bolstered.
Yes.
I forget who they added.
Didn't they add a Warriors player, or Klay Thompson? Didn't they add Klay Thompson?
Oh, did they?
Or am I thinking of someone else? No. Sorry. That's the Mavericks. I'm sorry.
Brandon Ingram.
I'm getting my teams confused.
Oh, no.
Klay Thompson signed with the Mavs today.
Did he?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So he's joining Luka out there.
Oh, yeah. I also heard that the Bulls wanted to trade Levine over to the Warriors for Chris Paul and somebody else. And then the Warriors said no. And then they waived Chris Paul.
So you got waived.
No.
No.
And fuck you, no.
Yeah. Double whammy. That's cruel.
Dang.
It was a busy day in the NBA.
Yes, it was.
Luckily for us, the Sixers were one of the busiest. So we'll see what's next for Daryl. And we'll anxiously await the start of the season. And it'll be fun to watch. It's nice because last year, like I said, didn't really have expectations of championship, of any championship aspirations.
Mm-hmm.
But it was the regular season was just like, okay, let's just get through this and get to the playoffs. Like this season, I think we can maybe enjoy the regular season a little bit. We can enjoy watching these guys come together, form some chemistry, gel a bit, and it's not going to be a rush to the playoffs this year. I feel like it's going to be like, okay, this is a fun group. Let's see how they gel. Let's see how they play together, and let's enjoy the regular season. You know, let's rack up like 50 to 60 wins this year. Let's have a fun season, and then we'll get to the playoffs afterwards.
Easy pace.
Yeah.
Manage, win.
Yeah,
easy.
Let's limit the injuries. Let's win some ball games. Let's shoot for that 1 seed, that 1 or 2 seed this year. I mean, the goal is the 1 seed. But I mean, at the very least, there's no reason if they, health aside, that they shouldn't be that 2 seed, or they shouldn't be like in the mix for that 2 seed. So another team that's got the city of Philadelphia very excited right now is the team across the street from the Sixers, and that is the Philadelphia Phillies, aka the best team in baseball if you're looking strictly at record and win percentage.
Ooh, they've reclaimed that?
Yes, and they've held it for a little bit here. They currently sit at 55-29, which is a .655 winning percentage, which is it's good. It's really good.
Just by the numbers, huh?
Yeah,
it's good.
On paper, that's a good number. So they currently have the best record in baseball, which is great. The second team has 53 wins, so they currently have 2 wins more than the second place team, which is the Baltimore Orioles, my dad's team.
Yeah.
Fun fact. So him and I have been crossing paths with our sports fandoms recently over the last couple of years. He's a Chiefs fan as well. So clearly, obviously we've had some crossover there, much to his benefit, not so much mine. And the Orioles and Phils. Orioles got the best of the Phils in their series this season, which we attended, and I'm happy for him.
Yeah, he got that win. That all of the games that you guys have attended, be it Chiefs games or Orioles games, how have those gone?
So, I feel like it's not a good record for you. If we're talking about wins, if we're just talking about the games that we've gone to, they split the games we went to for the Phils and Orioles a couple weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
And we actually went to Kansas City last year to see the Eagles play the Chiefs, and the Eagles won that game.
Wow.
So a little bit of redemption for the Super Bowl loss the year before. Not really, but better than nothing. And then we did watch the Orioles and Phils play in Philadelphia 2 years ago.
Yeah, that sounds right.
I think the Phils won that game. I remember, I do remember that it was a close win, but the Phils, I think the Phils scraped that one out. So
yeah, that sounds familiar to me too. I feel like I remember seeing a picture of him slightly dejected.
Yeah. So yeah, in person, I've got the better of him, but really in the grand scheme of things, he wins because his team beat the Eagles in the Super Bowl, which I'll never get over. But
yeah, I hate that you have to keep saying it though.
Yeah, no, I don't have. I'm going to stop saying it. This is the last time I say it. Anyway, so moving on, the Philadelphia Phillies, they are a good baseball team. Very good baseball team, in fact.
That's what I've heard, yeah.
Yeah. And
word on Broad Street.
The word on Broad Street is that the Phils are back. And this has been
so back.
We are so fucking back. This has been a different experience as a Phillies fan because the last couple of years, have resulted in playoff berths and fun runs in the playoffs. But they've struggled in the regular season, at least in the first half. And they always turn it on in the second half and go on a run. This year's been different. They started off slow first couple weeks, but then they stopped. They stopped being mediocre. They stopped being slow, and they went 0 to 100. I mean, pedal to the metal, and they just kept winning and winning and winning and stacking wins. And they were 10 games over 500, and then there were 15 games over 500, and then there were 20 games over 500. And I'm just not used to that. Like, I haven't experienced this since, the 2008 to 2011 teams. And even then, like, those teams weren't, this team is more dominant, at least to this point in the regular season, than those teams were.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just been great. I mean, I really have been like, kind of not sure how to react to this team because I'm still like not believing it.
Yeah, I totally know that feeling.
Yeah, I'm waiting for for the other shoe to drop.
Exactly, because if you start cheering now and start letting your guard down, that's when Phillies is gonna break you. You damn
exactly.
heart.
That's when my heart gets shattered into pieces, and they're trying to shatter my heart right now because they've got some injuries that have occurred to two of the most important players on the team. 3 actually. We've got Bryce Harper and Kyle Schwarber, who both got hurt in the same game last Thursday against the Marlins. And they got hurt in the same game, and they lost that game. So it was just it was the worst game of the season, for sure.
Ooh, what happened to them? What's the nature of their injuries?
So Harper pulled a hamstring. Literally the last batter of the game. He was the last batter of the game, grounded out to second base, was hustling the first base like he usually does, and pulled something right when he got to the base, and then he came up grabbing his hamstring. So hamstring injuries in baseball especially are always iffy. They can be it's a volatile injury. It can be 2 weeks, it can be 2 months, but thankfully it sounds like that he's only going to miss maybe 2 weeks. So best case scenario for an injury like that, hopefully there's no setbacks or anything, but he sounds like he'll be back before the All-Star break, actually, which is awesome. Great news. And we really dodged a bullet with that one because Bryce Harper is having his best season as a Philadelphia Philly so far. He was the top vote getter in the All-Star game in the National League, which is awesome. And he's just killing it this year. And it's just a shame that he gets hurt, but thankfully it's only 2 weeks and he might still be able to make a run at the MVP this year. So I'm excited I just want him to come back because
huge.
He is just so damn good. And I love him so much. But the other side of this is Kyle Schwarber, who suffered a groin pull because he was playing the field. He was playing left field, which he hasn't done because he's the designated hitter. He's not playing the field, but they've thrown him out there because there's some injuries. JT was hurt. They're trying to give Trey Turner time off his feet because he's coming back from a hamstring injury as well. So they threw him out there in left field, and of course he gets hurt. Like the play itself was a little weird. I think he was fielding a ball that was hit to the outfield, and then he was like running to his right or something and had to throw on the run, and just it looked weird. I don't know.
That sounds awkward.
It's one of those injuries that happens when you're 31, 32 years old and you're playing a professional
maybe
sport.
That's why I can imagine it so vividly.
It's an old man injury, basically. So
great.
But for him, he said actually in an interview recently that he's going to be back once the 10-day IL stint is up. So both of them were put on the 10-day IL. So they have to be on that list. They can't play for 10 days, basically. And then when it's over, they can come back when they can play whenever they feel like they can play. So he said he at the day he comes off, he's going to play. So that's good. Another bullet dodge there because he was also having a great season, arguably his best season as a Philly to this point. So
dang.
Yeah, it makes sense that they're both having career years for the Phils because the team is shining right now. Like they have their 26 games over 500. They're going to get to 30. It's just a matter of when.
That's
crazy. It's just such a crazy. It feels like it's usually the Dodgers, the Yankees are the ones that are 30 games plus over 500. Like the Phillies are not that team, and this year they are. And they're kind of in a rough stretch right now. Like they're trying to overcome these injuries. Harper, Schwarber, JT Realmuto, who's hurt, who is such an important piece to this team, not just with the offensive capability, but he's the catcher and he's calling the game. He's managing this pitching staff, and the pitching staff is the main reason why they've been so good. Why they've won so many games, because their team ERA is like just around the 3, maybe a little over 3, which is amazing. You're averaging giving up 3 runs per game. You're going to win a lot of games if you're only giving up 3 runs a game. So yeah, JT is a huge piece to this team, calling the games, and his defense behind the plate is is top tier. It's
That's
arguably
stellar.
the best defensive catcher in the league. I think he is the best defensive catcher in the league. And offensively, he's better than the guys that are playing for him right now. And they've done a serviceable job, but he's a guy that can hit 20 plus home runs a year and hit like around 260 to 270. So, you're really missing that right-handed pop from the catcher position. But hopefully he's back soon. I actually think that Harper and Schwarber both can be back before him. He had a meniscus tear that he had to get very non-invasive surgery on, so I think they actually just removed the torn ligament.
So we don't fucking need this shit.
We don't need that. Just
out of here.
Toss it out.
This isn't baseball shit.
Yeah, so he'll be back
because wasn't he playing through that for a while too?
Yeah, like the guy's tough. This guy is a tough son of a bitch, like the opposite of Tobias Harris. Sorry, Toby. I'm not done with you yet.
Catching strays in the Phillies segment, dude. That's so funny.
But JT is the toughest player. One of the toughest players I've ever seen wear a Phillies uniform. I mean, the guy is just you take such a beating as a catcher, and he gets beat up a lot back there, and every time he just gets back, he's not, he doesn't want to take a day off. He plays basically every day. He misses maybe one game a week, which is pretty much unheard of for a catcher. And then also performing at the level that he performs, it's unheard of. It's awesome. He's also taken a lot of balls to the balls this year. Yeah. I feel like there's been an uptick in this sort of occurrence. Like it's happened to Garrett Stubbs a couple of times. And I see highlights. Like I feel like at least once or twice a week of catchers around the league that are just getting foul balls off their balls.
Yeah, I'm not getting served this content, so
it's bad. And they're all wearing jock straps, obviously, but like that, you can only do so much when you're fouling off 100 miles per hour.
Yeah.
And off the bat, it's probably even faster. So, man.
Fuck.
Anyway, yeah, I can feel it in my stomach right now.
Hate that.
Yeah, not good. But what is good is the Phillies. And again, I mentioned the pitching. I mean, Ranger Suarez is having a breakout season. Despite the fact that he's kind of struggled he definitely struggled his last start. He gave up 6 earned runs, which was the most he's given up all season, earned run wise. And then his start before that, he wasn't bad, just wasn't great. He was just okay. I think he gave up like 3 or 4 runs, but he's been fantastic. Before that, he racked up 10 wins. Now he hasn't gotten a win in a couple starts here, so but he can still get that 20 win mark, which hasn't happened. I don't think a Philly has won 20 games since Roy Halladay. And that was back in like 2010, I think, when he did that. Yeah, that doesn't happen a lot anymore in baseball because a lot of these pitchers aren't pitching deep enough where they can earn the win. A lot of them getting no decisions. So 20 wins would be outrageous, but we'll see. I mean, he was on a torrid pace, which he was never going to keep up. His ERA was below 2. It was like 1.8 something.
Oh, yeah.
Ballooned a little bit now because of his last start, giving up 6 runs. Will do that to you when your ERA is under 2. It's going to go up a bit. So he's probably no longer in the top 4, top 5 ERAs in baseball. But as of at least before his last start, the Phillies had the top 4 starting pitchers in ERA in baseball, or in the National League. Sorry. With the top 3. It used to be the top 4, but Nola kind of had a couple rough starts. But it was Ranger, Cristopher Sanchez, and then Zack Wheeler.
Yeah, dude, that's just crazy.
Yeah. So the pitching staff has been electric. Zack Wheeler has been Zack Wheeler, one of the most underrated pitchers in baseball. I mean, he's definitely a top 5 pitcher in baseball, but come playoff time, he's arguably the best pitcher in baseball in regards to playoff starting pitching. And then Cristopher Sanchez has been like, what? He's been incredible.
Sneaky. Yeah.
He's had like a Tyrese Maxey sort of rise here. Although, I mean, Cristopher Sanchez, there's no expectations with him. with Tyrese, you're like, okay, this kid's going to blossom into a star hopefully one day. But with Chris Sanchez, I mean, he was just a nice lefty in the minors that, had size. He was tall, lanky, had the build to possibly, develop into a pretty decent pitcher. But I mean, he's been one of the best starters in all of baseball. I mean, ERA wise, he's under 3, and he's coming off. He just got a new deal. He just got signed a 4-year extension, which congrats to him. He comes out 2 starts after his 2 starts since. I think he's given up maybe 1 run maybe in his last 2 starts total. His last start was a complete game shutout when the team needed him desperately, because they won that game 2-0. Like, there wasn't a lot of wiggle room at all. Like, there was a lot of stress involved in that game, and he just shut down the Marlins. Yeah. And the Marlins aren't a good offensive team, but I mean, since signing the contract, he's not let up. He's gotten better, and you just love to see that.
Hell yeah, good for him.
Yeah, and he was showing some emotion on the mound, so just when you're rolling like this, when you have this many wins as the Phillies have, you got to have guys that perform above their expectations. So a guy like him, like Cristopher Sanchez, you don't expect him. He's your 4th starter. You don't expect really much out of him. But I mean, he's been better than most teams' ace. Like,
yeah,
amazing. And then Taijuan Walker's on the pitching staff as well, and he's
also there.
He's basically the Tobias Harris of the Phillies. I'm sorry, it's getting paid. He's getting paid a lot, and he's not living up to expectation. So they're basically the same guy. And the bullpen's been great too. Bullpen's been really good. I'm not gonna say great, but it's been really good.
Mm-hmm.
And you've got 2 guys in particular that have been just lights out for the majority of the season. And that is Jeff Hoffman and Matt Strahm. And Matt Strahm, you would recognize Matt Strahm because he's got the hair. But he's a guy that just doesn't blow you away with any of his stuff. He just locates really well, and he mixes in his pitches really well. And he's got kind of a funky left-handed motion, so I can see where he's really hard to hit as a left-handed batter.
Mm-hmm.
But Jeff Hoffman's just been a blossoming star. Like, really another guy that kind of a journeyman reliever. And I'm pretty sure actually last year the reason he got promoted to the Phillies is because Bryce Harper was hitting against him during his rehab assignment when he was coming back from his Tommy John surgery. And he was like, guys, this guy is electric. He's got really good stuff.
And let's bring him on.
GM Bryce Harper convinced Dave Dombrowski and the Phillies staff to give him a chance, and he's rewarded them with being damn good. Damn good. So yeah, I mean, the pitching has been great. It's been phenomenal. And the hitting has been inconsistent at times, but it's been pretty good overall. But they're gonna struggle for the next couple weeks while they're missing Harper and they're missing Schwarber and they're missing JT.
Mm-hmm.
Now they had a really nice win as of recording yesterday, but last Sunday against the Marlins, they were down 6-2. Ranger had a bad outing, and I'm watching that game and I'm like, all right, well, it's probably over. I mean, Sunday day game, these guys, it's hot as hell out there, and the firepower just isn't there today, and they shocked me. They fought and clawed and came back all the way back. Castellanos had a great game. Trey Turner on his birthday had basically the game-winning hit, the hit that put him up in the 7th inning, I think. He had a good day as well. Alec Boehm had a 2-run homer in the first. And they came back and pulled off a damn good win, one of the best wins of the season. And I don't know. This team just feels different this year. They feel like a squad that's determined to rectify what happened last year. And
so, speaking of last year, what do you think is the difference maker between, or the biggest difference maker between last season and this season?
It's the starting pitching.
Anything really that tangible?
Well, what happened last year in the playoffs was basically the lack of offense killed him. They just could not hit in game 6 and 7, and then the bullpen let him down in game 4. Kimbrel, Craig Kimbrel. So Craig Kimbrel is basically not him, but not being on the team anymore is the biggest benefit. Addition by subtraction.
Addition by subtraction, baby.
Who, we said that earlier about another player who used to play in Philadelphia, but I won't say his name again. But yeah, that is the biggest difference. And then, I mean, the offense is the offense. Like, they're gonna go through droughts. They're gonna go through. They're gonna have consecutive games, or weeks where they are the best offense in baseball, and they score like 5+ runs a game. That's just the way of baseball. I mean, offense comes and goes, but pitching stays. And right now,
that's deep, man.
Yeah, for the most part, pitching stays. But especially come playoff time. So I'm just, with the starting pitching right now, how good it's been. And again, not having Craig Kimbrel in the bullpen. I mean, there are guys in the bullpen that I don't trust, really. But overall, I feel pretty good about most of the arms in the bullpen.
Yeah.
And they're going to make a move. I don't know what they're going to do, but the trade deadline is middle to end of July. And they're going to, Dave Dombrowski is going to make a move.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what's he going to do? I don't know. But what they need is more pitching. They could always use more pitching. A bullpen piece. I would say a right-hander out of the bullpen that can pitch high leverage innings. So, like, you're talking like the 7th, 8th, 9th innings, someone reliable. And then they could use another bat. Like, outfield, the Phillies outfield's definitely the weak point of the team.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they have a mixture of Brandon Marsh, Nick Castellanos, Johan Rojas, who's backup, Christian Pache, and David Dahl, who was brought up earlier in the season, has actually been pretty good. But they don't really have any consistency out there right now. Like, the defense is fine. Defense is great, but there's not really any pop coming out of it. Like, Castellanos is supposed to be that guy that's providing the pop. And admittedly, he's been better recently, but overall, season's been mostly down. But he is playing better over the last couple weeks. I'll give him that. But you're not getting a reliable source of offense from your outfield, which is worrisome. You want to at least have one of your corner outfielders be dependable. And maybe Castellanos will be able to maintain what he's doing right now, but they could definitely afford to add a corner outfielder or a center fielder that can hit. There's been a couple of names thrown out there. Luis Roberts, who plays for the White Sox. He's a young right-handed hitter who's coming off a 38 home run season last year, but he's prone to injury. And I don't know. He had one really good season. And, I'm not sure if I'm willing to give up my top prospects in the farm system for a guy like that, who is he hasn't shown the ability to stay healthy and to duplicate what he's done. So
be a big gamble.
Yeah. I mean, it would be an upgrade offensively, definitely. But, in the long run, is it worth having that? Would you rather have him, or would you rather have one of your top prospects who could possibly be a star in the majors? And, I'm willing to give up top prospects for certain players who have maybe more of a track record or are more dependable. But Luis Roberts doesn't really excite me too much. We'll see. If they get him, so be it. I'll be on board. But would be my first choice. And I don't really know who else is available right now. I know there's whispers out there that if Mike Trout were to come back for the Angels, I think he's currently hurt, but if he were to come back healthy and play a week or two before the trade deadline, and he looks good, then it's been a pipe dream of mine. Like, obviously I want Mike Trout to play for the Phillies. That would be a dream. But he's getting older. I think he's 33, 34 now. He's got an injury history. He's one of those guys. He's just an injury-prone player. He gets hurt every year. It's the biggest shame in all of baseball because the guy could have been like an all-time great. And at the end of the day, he'll probably still make the Hall of Fame, I think. But he's not going to win anything out there. If he came to Philadelphia, like he'd be a hero, and he's got a legitimate chance to win a World Series. So that would be awesome.
That's our appeal to you, Mike.
I'm not a betting man, but I don't think that would happen. But there's a small possibility that gets talked about more as the trade deadline approaches. So, but yeah, we'll see what moves they make. But right now, I'm just trying to enjoy the season. I really am. Like, I'm just trying to soak it in. Like, this is the best regular season of Phillies baseball at this point in my lifetime. So I'm just trying to live it up. I'm just trying to.
Crazy to think about.
Yeah, and they've had some really good teams. You know, that 2007 to 2011 run. But yeah, I mean, record wise, this team is the best out of all those teams, and we'll see at the end of the day where they end up. They're definitely in the playoffs. I'm not even concerned about that. It's just how far are you going to go, and are you going to win the division? Because right now they have an 8-game lead over the Braves, and the Braves are still a scary team. Like, they still scare me, even though they lost Ronald Acuna, who's their best overall player, and they've lost their ace in Spencer Strider. So they're definitely hurting, but they're still hovering there. Like, they'll make a run at the division at some point, I'm sure. Like, they're kind of, the Phillies and them are kind of in a spot right now where they keep exchanging wins and losses, so they're not really making any ground right now.
Mm-hmm.
They have an 8-game lead right now, so I want to see that lead continue to grow. Because winning the division would be nice. I mean, they haven't won the NL East, since 2011. I think that was the last time I'm pretty sure that's the last time they won it. They've made the wild card the last 2 years, so a division crown would be sweet. And then we'll cross the whole little mini bye week bridge when we get there. But yeah, the division's definitely not. It's definitely not over yet. And I'm curious to see how the Phils handle this next stretch with all these injuries. They are going to be playing some better teams coming up here. So that's actually been that's been a factor for the reason why they have the record they have, is the schedule.
Mm-hmm.
They started off playing the Braves at the beginning of the season. They lost 2 of 3 in that series.
I remember.
And I'll be honest, they've gotten a fortunate break with the schedule early on in the season. Like, they've played some really bad teams. Which, at the end of the day, you got to play who's in front of you. And it'll all even out eventually because every team is playing the same teams when the season's said and done. It's just a matter of when it's happening.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the Phillies just wrapped up the Marlins series. They split, which not ideal, but understandable given the injuries right now. But they're going to Chicago for a 3-game series coming up here. Chicago isn't great. They have some players, but the Phillies are better by far. But then the stretch gets a little more challenging. You go to Atlanta to play the Braves. That'll be a fun series. It's the first time seeing the Braves since the first season of the series, or the first series of the season. So we'll see how they match up there. And then the Phillies welcome in the Dodgers to Philadelphia the series after. So you're playing the Braves and Dodgers back-to-back series. That's going to be a tough.
Yeesh.
That's going to be a tough two series stretch there. I'll be happy with 500. I'll take 500 between those two series. And I really want to go to one of those Dodgers series to see Shohei Ohtani.
Oh yeah, it'll
be fun. Right? Yeah, he's been incredible this year for the Dodgers. But yeah, I'm just trying to enjoy the season. I'm just trying to enjoy the Phillies season. Like, baseball for me, it's not like basketball or the Sixers. Like, I did just say I was going to try to enjoy the regular season for the Sixers this season, but for that, just for the NBA, like, just get us to the playoffs. Like, come on, just get us to the playoffs. But for baseball, it's so long, and it's on all the time, and it's just like it's a season that needs to be. You can't just fast forward to the playoffs because it's such a long time.
Yeah.
So you need to really just enjoy. You just need to enjoy it, and it's the only sport that's being played during the summer, out of the major sports at least. So you really have nothing else to look at. So you got to enjoy your baseball while you have it. So I'm trying to savor the team right now and their current, and where they currently are, and then we'll see where they end up. And I'm excited to see improve.
Hell yeah!
I see you've been watching more of the games this season.
Yes,
I've seen you've sent me you sent me Snapchats of them on your projector, and it brings joy to my heart. Because I know baseball is not really your go-to sport, but
yeah, I don't know anything about it.
All you know is that the Phillies have been winning a lot of games.
That's true.
But yeah, I wanted to get your thoughts really quick because I love the thing I love most about this team is the way that they've drawn dormant baseball fans back into the fold. Like the Phillies were so bad for so long, basically a 10-year stretch, and people not forgot about the Phillies, but they didn't have a presence. Like the Phillies didn't really have much of a presence in the area. Like I love just going out and I see Phillies merch. I see people wearing Phillies jerseys, shirts, hats, everywhere I go. And it warms my heart. And seeing like all these kids that are loving the team and all the players, and it's like back in the day.
Yeah,
it's like what it felt like back in the back in that run from 2007 to 2011. It just brings me right back. So
damn, dude, you gotta love it.
I know. So what's been like, but like for you, like when the games you've watched are like, what's kind of drawn you to the team besides the winning? Obviously, is there like a player you like the most or something they do?
It is mostly the winning, actually.
The winning helps. That definitely helps.
Well, all I can really do is regurgitate the shit that I hear, right? I mean, they say it on almost every post game live, right? They're like, this team finds ways to win.
Yes.
And I think that's what helps me watch a little bit. Not the fact that the wins are coming in. It's more that any given game, no matter really what the score looks like, I can kind of lean on them being able to pull it out of the bag. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I feel you.
There are some other sports games that you watch, and it's like at a certain point in the game, you're like, all right, yeah, this one's over. But it just doesn't feel that way most nights with the Phillies.
I get that. And that's the beauty of baseball. There's no clock. The game's never truly over until it's over. I mean, I've seen crazy shit happen. Crazy comebacks, but I mean, yeah,
I guess that is the other thing. You said there's no clock. There is a clock.
Well, yeah, there is.
Made it much more watchable.
Yeah, actually, yeah, that's funny you say that. The pitch clock is probably the best invention that they've had. The best evolution of baseball and Major League Baseball that we've seen in our lifetime. Like it's been great. I mean, I'm a sicko. I would watch a full 9-inning game from start to finish before the pitch clock, like 4 hours of baseball, and I'm just like I'm locked in the whole time. But yeah, the pitch clock, these games are like zooming by like 2.5 hours on average, I think, and it's basically shed like a half hour off the average time, which is huge.
Yeah,
it's huge. I really haven't had this experience yet, but I am worried that sometimes the games might go too quickly, especially if you're going to a game.
Right.
Like you get there and it's like it's not even been 2 hours and it's like the 7th inning. It's just one of those games. Like baseball can have those games where no team's hitting and it's just a pitching duel and it's just going and they're all swinging early and it's going by quickly. That was my only concern, but it hasn't really happened much. It's a rarity, especially with this team because they do score. And yeah, the clock and then but the team just has a lot of likable guys. Like, definitely, this is probably the most likable. It might be the most likable Phillies team I've ever seen. Like, I loved last year's team. If they had won the World Series, they would have been my favorite team of all time, in any sport. But a lot of those guys are back this year, so they have that same chemistry. I think that's also something that really draws people is just seeing these guys just love each other and have fun, and you could see the connection that they all have. I mean, they literally love each other. Like they're like basically kissing each other on the cheek in the dugout. Like it's one of their celebrations. Like I think Stubbs does like the little side cheek kisses to Bryce.
Yeah.
You got Johan Rojas like jumping in Nick Castellanos' arms in the outfield, like giving him a giant hug. Yeah, there's a lot of vibes on this team. This team's got incredible vibes, and I want nothing more. Immaculate. And I love that energy like that draws in people like you who aren't really baseball fans.
You mean you people?
You non-baseball watching people. But just because they're winning and they're having fun doing it, and you can tell it comes off the screen and it makes it even more enjoyable to watch. So I'm thankful for that. I want nothing more than for this team to win a World Series. Like, it needs to happen. I will not be able to live life peacefully if this team, if not even this specific team, but if the Phillies don't win a World Series while this core is here, I'm never gonna get over it. I'll never get over it.
I will never recover.
I will never recover. It'll be a crime. Like, man, sad. But I don't want to think about that. It's good vibes right now. I don't want to think about the future. I want to think about what's happening right now. And yeah, they're a damn good baseball team, and I love it. All right, so that was our discussion on the Philadelphia 76ers and the Philadelphia Phillies. A lot of good things going on with both teams right now. On the Sixers end, desperately needed, and the Phillies, well, we're just vibing with the team right now and just taking it day by day. So we're having a good time with them. But appreciate you watching. You can. Damn it!
You got this. No, you got this, man. You're about to get it in one.
Okay.
And by one, I mean two.
All right. Well, you can follow us on YouTube at 5 o'clock sweats, Instagram at 5 o'clock sweats, X, or better known as Twitter, 5 o'clock sweats, and Spotify and Apple Podcasts and any other place that you get your podcasts. You can find us.
Smooth, man. Like a glove.
Like a glove. Yeah. No notes.
Baseball glove.
No notes.
No notes.
Anything else on your end?
No.
All right. Well, as always, stay sweaty.
Weird.
And Schwarber, you've seen those stubby little legs of his, and how quickly they're moving. Like,
it's like the Mr. Krabs.
Yeah, exactly. That's what when he's running the bases, it literally looks like that. Yeah, it's like a cartoon character.